Hey everybody, welcome back. Well guys, in this video we're going to be doing our second review of the Smithy Granite 1340 Max that we bought last year. Alright, well I don't know how many of you remember or have watched the video, but last November, I bought this Smithy Granite 1340 Max and brought it home and made a video about why I bought it and all that. And it's right up here, man. I'm going to put it right up here on the top right of your screen, all the links to the videos that I'm going to mention in here from the past. So if you want to go back and watch them, you can. All right, so this video is going to be the second review of the Smithy Granite that I bought about 9 months ago. And I've been playing with it and tinkering with it. And we've already done one review already last winter on this machine. And up here is going to be your link to that if you want to see the first review. And in this video, I'm not going to rehash the things that we talked about in that one. I feel like it's redundant to kind of go back and beat the dead horse, so to speak. So in this one, we're going to talk about, what from that point till now, the things that I bumped into or done to it or whatever, that I think that you should know if you're interested in these machines or you have one or whatever. All right, so that's what we're going to do in this video, guys. We're going to talk about the pros and cons or whatever, or the things that you need to do to one or not do to one if you have one of these machines, okay? And then in my case, I have the Smithy Granite 1340 Max, okay? All right, so let's get started here. One of the things that I ran across not too long ago when I was doing some drilling with the machine was the drill height, okay? And what I mean by that, and I may move the camera here over so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, so when I was talking about drill height, or the problem that I had the big vise mounted in here, and then I had my drill chuck mounted up here, and I was wanting to drill a hole in a 2.5 inch tall piece of material. Preferably it was a piece of square tubing and I was trying to drill a hole in, okay? And what I ran into was that with that big vise and the drill chuck and the drill bit in it, I didn't have but about 2 inches of clearance, so I couldn't get over the top of the piece of material to drill the hole. And so what I ended up doing was I had to shorten my drill bit. All right, so let me show you this. All right, so this is one size under a 1/2 inch drill bit, and this was the 1/2 inch bit that I had to shorten. And you see there how much I had to cut off of it so that it could slide up into the chuck far enough. So that's something that you need to consider. If you're going to use the large vise that you can buy for this machine, which I recommend, by the way, okay, that little drill vise that comes with it, you just need to put that thing on your drill press over there and not even think about using it on this machine. That drill vise is too small, it's way too dinky to use in a milling environment, okay? So I got the big vise that I mount up here, and there just wasn't enough room, to get it over the work to drill. So I had to cut, about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, maybe more off of it. So in order to get it over the work, I had to cut, that's 3/4 of an inch. Had to shorten it by 3/4 of an inch to get it to where it would come over the top of something 2.5 inches tall to drill. So bear that in mind, okay? I mean, it's not a drawback. It's just one of those limitations of the machine that you got to learn to live with. All right, so while we're talking about the limitations that the machine has, okay, and this is important to consider and understand before you go out and spend the kind of money it takes to buy this thing, okay? Or if you already have one, okay? It's made for what I use it for, pretty much. I mean, it sits on a bench, and you use it to do, small milling projects, small lathe projects. If you're a gunsmith or somebody like that just does small stuff, man, this thing's fantastic for you. But, I've had comments and people reach out to me, and one guy asked me, hey, is this something I could put in my shop and run, 24/7, use it as a production machine? And, my answer was no. It's not meant for that. It's never going to hold up long to that kind of use and abuse. The motor's going to burn up or whatever. You're not going to get the kind of accuracy you want. But if you just got, like me, a guy with a 2-car garage or a basement shop or whatever, and you want something that will plug into your outlet and you can use for the kind of machining like we do, just turning something down or milling a slot or, just modest machining, okay? That's what I like to call it, modest machining or hobby machining. This thing's great. It's big enough to do the kind of stuff you want to do. If you go buy one of those little tiny mini lathes, you're going to wish you had this, okay? So let's continue talking about the limitations. I have one person comment on one of my videos. I can't even remember now. And man, he said that he had one of these machines and it just was terrible. It was this, it was that. It burned up so many motors. He didn't have to replace so many bearings in the head. I mean, it just had this big laundry list of failures, okay, associated with his smithy, okay. Maybe he got a dud, I don't know. But I want to put it into the kind of perspective, or let me put it into terms that maybe we can all relate to, okay. If you go out and you buy, you know, a little Ford Ranger or a little S10, Chevrolet S10 pickup truck, and they got a little 4-cylinder engine in it, and, you know, it's a lightweight, light-duty vehicle. You know, yes, a truck, it's got a bed and it's got a hitch on it, but you take that thing and you hook it to a big old camper and you think you're going to pull it over the mountain every day, you're going to be very disappointed with that truck. And you're going to come back and say, man, that truck's junk. It keeps burning the brakes up, and I put 3 transmissions in it, and I've dropped a valve in the engine. And well, it's because you're trying to take something that was never intended to do that amount of work or that, you know, that heavy of a load, and expecting it to perform like, you know, a big truck with a big V8 or a diesel and big brakes, and they're meant to do that kind of work. And a smithy is like the little 4-cylinder truck. Yes, it's got a bed and a hitch and all that, but it's never meant to do that kind of work. You know, this machine will take light cuts, and it'll only run so long, and you got to let it rest or whatever, you know. And you just can't overwork it. If you put this thing, man, like this big, you know, I've got a face mill in here right now, and you put that face mill on there, and you think you're going to come out here every day and hog metal with it, you're going to be disappointed with what you got. All right, so bear that in mind when we're talking about this second review. This thing has limitations. You got to work within those, okay? All right. So let's talk about the tool post upgrade that we did. So I'm going to turn the camera and let's take a look at that. So let's talk about this tool post upgrade. This is one of the best things that I did for my machine. If you already have one, you should seriously consider putting an upgraded tool post on here. You know, and I got a BXA that I put on here. Up here's the link to the video to that where we put the BXA on there. An AXA you could put on it, but a BXA will fit it, and you don't have any problems with the height and all that. And that's in the video. Watch that. And this has been a huge improvement to my smithy. Okay, it makes it a lot more rigid. The thing that what we did to it, it just makes it so much better. And I'm tickled to death that I did that. Okay, so you might want to check those videos out if you hadn't already. The BXA or an AXA tool post upgrade is well worth the time and the money that you will put into it. And the other thing that we did was right here, man, these bolts that hold all of this together, this tool post slide that's here, you know, the compound, replacing these bolts here, they are inferior. The ones that come with the machine, with the tool post, they're awful. You're going to hate them from day one. Watch the video on replacing those also, okay? It's a must to do that. Even if you don't do the quick change upgrade, you need to do this, and I'll show you in the video how easy it is to do it, okay? All right, guys. One of the other huge improvements that we made to my smithy was adding this digital readout set that I bought off of eBay. And guys, it was only, like, 120 bucks, whatever it was. It was not that expensive to add digital readouts, to the machine. And I got to tell you that the improvement was just off the charts, okay, with being able to hold, some good accuracy with it. And I highly recommend these, okay. But all right, guys, so this is the digital readouts. And I want to say this, okay, if you're wanting to buy one of these smithies, or you already have one and you're thinking about doing the digital readout thing, let me say this. Don't go buy the one that Smithy wants to sell you. I mean, the markup on that thing is out of sight. The one that Smithy sells doesn't necessarily do anything that this one doesn't do, other than it comes with some brackets and different stuff that's kind of made more for your machine. It's got a little stand that it goes on. And hey, if that's what you want to buy, you knock yourself out. But I can tell you that for what they want for that sucker, you can buy a lot of other accessories for your machine that'll give you way more bang for your buck. Use your money to buy tooling, maybe, when you get your machine, and not the digital readout. 120 bucks, whatever it was on eBay. It wasn't. Okay? It wasn't that much money, and I'll write it in here, okay, exactly how much it cost in the video. I just can't remember. It wasn't that expensive, all right? So you want to make sure you get your digital readout, but be smart about it, all right? All right, one of the other things that you can do that'll really improve your machine or your machining process is to make sure you lock down those gib screws, you know, when you're doing your cuts or your drills or whatever. If you're using the lathe portion or whatever, you're going to do some lathing, lock down everything except for the axis that you're actually machining. And I know it's a little inconvenient and it's a little time consuming, and I'm guilty of, you know, forgetting to do it. But guys, when you lock those things down and zero out your digital readout, you'll get much better accuracy, okay? So make sure you do that and you'll be a lot more happier with your machine. Right. And last but not least is backlash. And if there's one thing that the Smithy products take a beating for is excessive backlash. And I got to say that, you know, when I bought this machine initially, I was really impressed at how little it had. And after using it a bunch and, you know, getting more and more familiar with it, putting some hours on it, that I can tell you that it has developed some backlash. And I'm going to be doing a video real soon, guys, on, you know, taking that backlash out the way I'm going to do it and to my abilities, which is probably what a lot of you have. And so you can look forward to that, okay? We'll be doing a video on removing the backlash or improving it, okay? You're not going to get it all out, all right? You got to have, there's always some backlash in the machine. We're going to get as much out as we can and still keep it where it functions good, all right? So my last point is this, and that's the more you use the Smithy, the more you're going to like it, okay? You get more familiar with it, at least I have, and what it can do and what it won't do and how much you can take and whatever, and, you know, which direction everything works, and you just use it. You know, you can't buy it and use it a week or two or a month or two and just hate it or whatever. You know, you got to give it time, learn what it can do. So, well, guys, thanks for watching this video. I appreciate you coming back for our second review of the Smithy Granite 1340 Max that we bought about 9 months ago. And guys, I got to tell you that so far I love the machine, and I really appreciate you coming back and watching this video. Stay tuned for more, okay?